Today's tutorial is inspired by Harbin International Airport by Mad Architects. Welcome to day 18 of 30 scripts in 30 days. Let's start. So the first thing I want to do is to grab this top view and I'm going to copy it and just bring it to Rhino. So just like that, copy, and just in here, Control V or best. And I'm going to make it like very huge, something like this. But in this case, I'm going to select it and I'm going to probably the top view and just select any point in here in the middle. And I'm going to move it from like I'm going to type in here 0 and then comma and then 0. So right now I'm moving it exactly to the origin. The most important thing is that the y-axis is in the middle because it will be easier to mirror everything later. And then I'm going to just lower it a little bit so it's not exactly on the XY. And then I'm going to go to here and to the layers and just change object layer and add it to any layer so it's like this one. And then I'm going to lock it, and probably if you want you can just select the image and change the transparency if you feel like it's too white or anything, or just change it however you want. So probably I'm going to do a little bit something like this so it's not like very bright. So the first thing I want to do is to simply start modeling from here. I'm going to start working away from the 0 because I'm going to use the 0 as um, the origin to make any mirrors or any offsets or anything. So I'm going to start away from that. So I'm going to just bring my model somewhere here and then try to match this a little bit. So something like this and then something like this. And the last element is I'm going to do any point. It doesn't matter if it's slanted because I'm going to select those 2 points and then Gumber relocate and then scale. So I'm going to scale it in this direction. So this will be flat, which what matters. And then I'm going to try to replicate this kind of shape. So let's see how we can do that. I'm going to mirror this first from the 0 and make sure it's copy. So it's something like this. And probably I'm going to select this point and just lift them up a little bit to something like this. And I'm going to copy this. Let's see, I'm going to copy it and rotate it. So I'm going to rotate it, let's try 60. I think 60 might make sense, but in this case I'm going to rotate it to the opposite side. So I'm going to say 180. So it's something like this, probably. And I'm going to need to bring all of this. I'm going to move them, but right now make sure the near is working because I'm going to move them on the near like this. I'm going to move them in this direction, something like this. And then I'm going to select those 2 points and move them inward a little bit, something like very close to this. Because right now, once I selected those and just made a bridge, it will be connected. But I think in this case, just to be like flexible enough, I might make something similar to that. And then I'm going to select this whole thing and try to figure it out as a scale. Maybe in this case, we might select this and just bridge. In this case, I want it to be only one. Just one will be enough. And I'm going to probably select those faces and mirror to the other side. So I'm going to say 0 and just like this. And I'm not happy with this part. So I'm going to try to fix all of these elements. So I'm going to just start creating like this kind of shape. So I'm going to bring this a little bit down here. So I kind of create this. Let me just stitch those. So everything is kind of connected. And I believe in this case, even try to bring this down a little bit and maybe connected to something like this. I'm not sure if I need 2 or 1. For now, I'm going to keep it like this. But these 2, I'm going to just select like some of these elements. So I'm going to grab those and just start freestyling a little bit. So I'm going to grab this to here and probably grab this to here and probably grab this to here. And maybe I'm going to select both of these and just try to make something a little bit nicer. Something like this, maybe I mean, it looks similar a little bit to the point that we have. And in this case, I might just select this one and just drag it a little bit. So it's kind of representing the shape that I want to create. And right now, I feel like these 2 points are not, like, they are a little bit out. So maybe this will make it much interesting, probably. And I believe in this case we can just reflect. So if I selected this and reflect something like this, and I'm going to reflect it from the 0 and just try to, like, make it vertical and click flip because I want to keep the side. And let's see if reflect is working. Reflect is working pretty fine. And you can go to the shaded so you can see the reflection. And if you go to here, probably you can show something. I believe actually it's here. It's the reflection symmetry, or the SubD symmetry is on. If you remove it from here, you will not see it, but right now we need to see it so we understand that it's working. And right now, whatever you are doing to your shape, it's going to happen to the other side. So this will make things interesting to work with this view or to work with this feature. And this is great. That's kind of where we are right now at the design. Maybe you can start figuring out things to make the shape closer, or to add more details. Maybe right now you can just simply select something like this and add an edge. Right now it's absolute. Probably you need it absolute, probably you need it proportional. If you are working proportionally, it will kind of evaluate between those two curves, which sometimes you want it this way, but sometimes you want it absolute, so it's kind of working from one edge to the other. So it's like an offset from this edge, probably. So maybe something like this for this one, I believe, will be fine. So it's more like straight in this area. And I believe something like this is replicated 3 times. So you can replicate this 3 times, and then we can copy it and figure out how to work with it in here, because like these 3 kind of replicated, but then these 2 are not replicated. They are a little bit different. So let's figure it out. Before we move on, I might create this. Let's create it. Yeah, let's select probably from here and then go all the way to here. So I'm basically selecting all of these elements, and let's try to bridge them. And once you bridge, you will basically making like a single face in the middle. But maybe in this case, I'm interested to make this 2, and I'm not interested to join. Maybe in this case, I might select these 2 elements and bridge them. Let's try to, not bridge, I'm sorry, stitch. Actually, yes, probably something like this. And then I'm going to select those ones because these ones are in the middle. Actually, let's select it from here, it's easier. And then I'm going to remove any creases from the outside edges. And let's see if the elements are matching. There's something in these like something in here is happening. Let's figure it out. So you have these 2 small faces. I'm not interested to see them. Maybe these 2 faces are not good for the modeling. And then I'm going to select these 2 elements and just bring them together somehow. This is good. And I believe right now these, like, there is like a drop in here. So if we go back to the design itself, you can look at the design, and there are like probably like a skylight. There is a dark area in these zones, but then there's some kind of skylight. Let's try to find a good view to see them, something like this. But then there is the dark area. Probably even those are skylights, but these are like highlighted a little bit with a structure or something. So we can try to create that. So I believe to create that, you can just simply select something like this. All of these faces, I'm going to the faces, and then I'm going to select all of these. By the way, when you are working in the shaded, it will be like when you are trying to move anything, it's or select anything, it's harder especially to do something like this. So you have multiple options. Either you select something like this and then click shift and select something like this and then double click in the middle, so you basically selected it, or you can go to the wireframe and then highlight, so it's easier. But one more thing before we do that, because this is kind of important. I believe right now we can select both of these and just right click, so you are removing the reflection. It's important. And after that, let's go back to the wireframe actually, and I'm going to select those. Maybe not even those. I'm going to select only those, and then I'm going to add an inset, so it's like an offset a little bit. And right now it's 1. Let's make it a 0.1. Sorry. So let's make it 1, or like a bigger number, maybe even 2. Probably 2, something like this. And maybe in this case, I feel like these are not very good, so maybe you can just drag them, or like try to make them a little bit better. Maybe if you want, you can stitch those or not. It depends. I think stitching them will make it very interesting, because right now you can just simply like extract this one, so you will have something in here. And maybe in this case you can just select these points and just drag it a little bit toward this, so you will have like some kind of a drop shape, like something similar to what the design in here have. So kind of something like this. Let me try to find a better view. Maybe in this one, yeah, it's kind of something like that. It's like the center of the cell, or like the organism, or whatever you want to call it. Maybe something like this. I think this one needs to go a little bit up. That's good. That's actually better. And I believe right now we can just select all of these and just bring them somewhere here. And probably the best number to rotate this is 60, I believe. So if you are moving this somewhere here and just make it something like this, it's kind of similar. Probably. Let's try to move it somewhere in here. Yeah, for now I'm going to keep it like that. And I believe right now we can just select this and mirror from the 0. So let me try to do it again. Mirror, okay, and just make sure the copy is on. And then I'm going to click 0. So it's like I'm mirroring from the 0, which is important. And then I'm going to do something like this. And I believe after that we can just copy this. But right now I feel like the angle between them are 90. So I'm going to rotate this to 90. And I'm going to add it to here, but in this case I'm going to manually adjust all of these elements, because right now these are like very far away from what we need. So probably something like this. Probably this needs to go up. Maybe this needs to go a little bit closer to here. And maybe this, like right now these are not even in the right place. So let's first of all, let's adjust all of these first, and then I'm going to try to figure out the rest. So probably these are going to be this way and this way. Maybe in this case we can figure out this part. Not quite right. I believe in this case I want to keep this kind of continuity, so I'm going to select all of these and I'm just going to move them. I'm going to move, and I'm going to click on any point in here, and then while I see the word near, I'm going to move a little bit. So it's kind of moving in this direction without actually having to like move or do the Gumbo relocate thing. You don't have to do that in this case. And I believe in here is a little bit different, because when you look at the design itself, let's try to look in this one. These are like having the core in the middle, which is interesting, but then these have the core a little bit shifted and extended, so it's kind of different a little bit. It's not exactly the same. So let's try to figure that out. So for now, I'm going to actually, to make things easier, I'm going to remove this, and then I'm going to figure out how to create that effect. So I'm going to select those and just bring them all the way to here, probably something like this. and to make it more straight, so I'm going to make this a little bit toward here, and probably this one a little bit toward here. And I believe right now, like, you will have this, which is good, but then we want this to be like very, very close to here. Maybe something like that. And let's bring this a little bit. I want to keep this as straight as possible, so I'm going to select those 2 points, and then I'm going to move. Let's try again. I'm going to move from here to here, so it's something like that. Actually, it will be very interesting to keep this as straight as possible, so something like that. And then I'm going to gum relocate, and I'm going to select those 2 points and just flatten. And maybe I'm just going to move this a little bit inside because I feel like it's too much, and I'm going to move this a little bit towards here. So yeah, kind of like that. And probably in this case we can try to figure this out either manually, or you can try to make it like something like this. Maybe let's figure this part out. So I feel like these are um, I don't want to say too many, but let's move this somewhere here, and let's move this a little bit to here, and let's figure this part out. So yeah, this feels like a lot of not good design, so let's try to make it better. I believe like these are too close. Maybe this one, let's try to make it a little bit wider, and this one maybe even reduce the design a little bit in here. Actually, this one needs to go inside because like this vertex is like very, very far away, which is not good. And I believe in this case the whole thing in here is not working very well, so I'm going to select those 2 points and gum relocate and flatten it from here to here. Yes, but in this case I want, maybe I'm going to flatten all of these elements, so it's gum relocate, and then I'm going to flatten those probably to something like this, so it's smoother. And in this case I believe maybe we can yeah, this one is a little bit not good, maybe something like this. And I'm not sure if I should stitch those or not. Let's try to stitch them and see the final result. And then I'm going to move this like very, very far away. Actually, this is better, I believe, because right now the design is like way less, and also the fluidity in here is not like crazy, so we can just adjust this a little bit and we will have something closer to this, which is, if you look at the original design, it's kind of like you have this kind of curvature, but then it will straighten up. Maybe in this case we can just make those. I'm going to move this a little bit down, and then I'm going to flatten this with it. I'm sorry this part took a little bit too long, but it's just trying to figure out how this kind of shape has been created. So it's not going to be as good as the original design, at least. Like, I'm not trying to replicate the exact design, but it's kind of interesting to figure out something like this. Maybe in this case I'm going to move this a little bit from this to here, so it's kind of like this, because I want to create something in here. So maybe I'm going to bridge those two elements with one, but not join anything. Okay, and I'm going to join those elements, but with two, and I'm not going to join anything. And let's see what can we do about this. So I'm going to try to make this 2, so it's kind of moving from 1 to 1, which is good. And then I'm going to move this vertex from here to here probably, and I will try to select all of these and join them smoothly. So I will end up with something like this, but I'm going to select all of these sharp edges and I'm going to flatten them. So I might end up with something like this, and I'm not sure if it's perfect or not, but for now it will work just fine for my bubble that I want to create in here. So if I grabbed something like this and just added something in here, and then maybe extracted it, it will create like this kind of eye shaped. And maybe in this case I will just try to make it better or nicer, something like that. Probably in this case I'm going to push this a little bit to here, and maybe I'm not 100% sure about this part, but it's good enough for creating like this kind of shape. Let me check it out. I mean, I don't see a closer look to this, unfortunately, in any of the images. Like, let's try to look at it in a different image. I mean, this is the best I can do with the images that I have in here, but it's close enough to what I'm interested to create. And then I'm going to select this and mirror from the 0 again, and just make something like that, which is hopefully good enough for this design. Right now, I'm interested to create the connections between those. So right now, I'm going to delete some of these elements. So probably I'm going to delete those. I'm not sure if these are going to be good. And then I'm going to select those two, and then I'm going to bridge between them. And then I'm going to create, first of all, I want this to be something like that. And maybe if in this case, I'm interested to see more subdivisions. But as you can see, this is kind of in the right place, but this is like a little bit far away. So the connection is not going to be perfect. So I need to push those back. So I'm going to select all of these edges, and then I'm going to move them a little bit in here in the near. So it's something like this. And then I'm going to select this one again and this one again and bridge. So it's kind of closer to what we have or what we want to create. Maybe even you can try to add as many as you want. But for now, I'm not interested to make it very, very complex. I'm interested to have some kind of subdivisions that they are, if I move this a little bit, then it kind of fix it kind of fix what I want to create, something like that. And by the way, I forgot to join, so we can just select those and join and make it smooth, which is good. And right now we can I know this is not a good idea, but I have to show you. Right now, if I selected this and try to create a reflect and go to the 0, which is the center that I want to create a reflect from, and do something like this. So I'm going to keep the side and hit OK. Right now you can see that it blended everything. If I hide this for a second, let's hide all of that. Right now you can see that it blended everything, because for some reason reflect has some kind of tolerance. So if it's like closer to each other like this, it will collapse. So unfortunately, the best option for something like this is to just mirror and join. So I'm going to select something like this and mirror and join. But before I do that, let's finish this part first. I'm going to select these elements right here and just move them a little bit, probably closer to that. And then I'm going to I believe these are not in the middle. Maybe they are like closer. I'm going to select all of these edges and probably those, and I'm going to move them in here a little bit, because I believe like these ones, I'm going to fix that. These, let's move them from here to here, something like this, and probably fix those vertices, or even those edges. Let's select the vertices and then Gumber relocate, and from here to here, and just flatten this so it's kind of something like that. Maybe in this case we can just widen this a little bit so it's not as narrow as that. I'm going to move from here to here, maybe kind of something like this. Yes, but as you can see, this is not exactly in the center, which is why I moved it a little bit. You can see it even in the design itself in here. Let's look at probably this one. Not this one. This one's not obvious. Actually, they are in some images they are in the middle, but in some images they are not. So I'm not sure. Let's for now keep them not symmetrical. But like I feel like this part is bigger a little bit. because in the top view, if you are looking at this, this is not in the middle, so I'm not 100% sure. But for now, let's not keep it in the middle and just keep it something interesting like this. And I'm going to delete that, and I'm going to just simply bridge those to probably something like this. Maybe try to, yeah, this is the best, I believe. And then I'm going to select maybe, I forgot to join, so I'm going to join manually. Join, and then I'm going to simply isolate this for now, and I'm going to select probably all of these faces. Yes, and I'm going to mirror from the 0, make sure the copy is on, and make sure the ortho also is on, and then do something like this, and then join, select like none, and then join smoothly, so you'll have something like this, which is really good. And I believe in this case you can just simply select something like this and then bridge, and maybe in this case you can lower this, or I believe like these are too close, so maybe in this case I'm going to fix this one first. So I'm going to do this a little bit way, something like that, and I'm going to delete those two faces, and I'm going to copy those two faces again, mirror from the 0 to here, and then I'm going to bridge. Actually, without even joining, in this case, you can just select this element and this element and do the bridging. And once you do the bridge, actually, let's try again, do the bridging, and okay, let's select this element and this element and do the bridging and make sure it's join. And once you join, it will join this element right here, which is good, because right now we want to create all of these like very interesting features in the middle, which is not an easy task, by the way. But let's try to figure it out. The first thing I want to do after that is to, if you look at some of the design details in here, you can see that this element is moving from here, but then it will start to create this kind of movement, and then like end in a loop. These elements are moving from the edge and then go in a loop and try to move on to the end right here, and then all of these elements start from the edge and then go all the way around. But these elements are like, I want to keep them in a loop. So why does that matter? Because right now when they are in a loop, I can simply select something like this, and then I'm going to make a copy just to demonstrate something. I'm going to select I'm going to select the edge ring. So I'm going to select any edge like this, and then click space. And then I'm going to create an insert SubD edge. And right now it's absolute, so I'm going to make it proportional. And I prefer to work on the flat mode, it's easier. And I'm going to try to find the mid, or type 0.5. It's either one of them. And I'm going to double click on this edge again, and I'm going to try again, but this time make sure it's both sides. So I'm going to do something like this, and right now it's going to make double edges, and I'm going to find the mid again, and then I'm going to select this one and do the exact same thing. So it's just like that, and this will create all of these interesting curves. So right now, if I skipped the first one and then go straight to this one, and then skip this one and go straight to this one and this one. So right now I'm selecting all of these and crease, and then I'm going to select this one and this one and this one, like the other ones, not this one, yes, the other ones, and just lift them a little bit. I will end up creating this kind of effect, which is really interesting and really similar to the airport surface, which is, if you look at it, you will have this kind of topology happening, closer to, it's not like as exactly as the airport, but it's closer to like the fluidity or the design that it's been created. But I want to figure out the loops for all of this because later I can add all of these new curves that we have discovered. So I need to figure out how to create all of these quads that are starting from the edge or from the edge from here, and then they move like in a free way, but also they blend together to create all of these kind of interesting forms. So let's figure that out. I believe right now we can see that there's some kind of curve. Let's not say a curve, let's say a sub-D loop that is happening around. And this way we can like keep the fluidity of the edges, but then have something to connect all of these elements to. So let's try to do that first. So the first thing I want to do is to simply, let's go to the shaded, and I'm going to select, double click on this curve, like any curve right here. And I'm going to create an insert edge, but in this case, I'm going to back to here and I'm going to create something not proportional. I'm going to create something absolute because I want it to be like an offset. So it's going to be very, very small, something in here. And actually, I'm going to make it a little bit wider, so I would have like a small gap. Maybe I will use it later and maybe not. I'm not 100% sure. But for now, I'm going to keep it this way. And I'm going to make a ring out of this. And I'm going to make something proportional in this case. So it will be exactly in the middle. And I'm going to select all of this middle face. So I'm going to select the first one and then click shift and double click on the second one. So I kind of select the whole thing and just delete it. If I want to stitch things together, I'm going to select this edge, double click on it, and then shift and this edge and double click on it and then stitch and just figure out where the start is. You will see like like a point or something, and then you go to it and just either you stitch it toward this one or this one, it depends, but like it will be connected back again with something like this. But I don't want that. For now I'm going to keep it this way. It would be easier to do something with this. And I believe if we show what we have right now, let's show and just figure out all of these like kind of elements that happens in here and in here and all of these kind of connections probably. Maybe we can figure out something for them. I'm not 100% sure. Let's go to the top, and I believe in the connections we have this is connected to this and this is going all the way to connect to this. And yeah, so we can basically select something like this and just let's mirror this first. I have these. Let's go to none and then select all of these middle faces or middle objects, and I'm going to mirror from the 0, so I have something on the other side, and then I'm going to say yes, and I'm going to copy this one actually also, so I'm going to copy it from the 0 and I'm going to say yes, and then I'm going to select this first element and this first element, and I'm going to bridge, and right now maybe do something like this, but let's see where it is. Probably I'm going to say 25%, so it's similar to this right here, which is good, and that's perfect. And maybe even connected to this one because this one is also connected to this, so I'm going to select those two edges and I'm going to do the same, but in this case maybe you can, if it's not working then this is okay. You can just drag those and just bring them from here, move this vertex to here and move this edge from the vertex to this vertex, and just fix them manually to something like this. I believe right now this is good, and then we will end up, this one will end toward this, so this will need to be figured out. I believe in this case we need to remove some of these elements because these are not accurate representation of what we want to create. But in this case I believe this element right here needs to be flattened because right now this needs to go relocate and then go to something like this, so it's flat, and this one also needs to be go to this point and then flat. And I believe this one is going to be the easiest one because, you know, we can just create this kind of shape. But maybe I'm going to keep this for last because I believe this one is going to be the fill from all of the other ones. Let's for now try to create this. And I believe this is kind of starting from like these elements. I'm going to try to replicate it from these. Like I'm going to try to figure this out. Let's for now, I'm going to delete this face and then we can create it later. And actually, maybe even this face, I'm not 100% sure. Because this one is starting from like kind of two elements in here. Maybe in this case, we can just delete those. And then I'm going to add more subdivisions because right now these are three, but I feel like three is not enough. And maybe even select all of these and just because these are five, so five might not be enough. I'm going to select this one and try to add more. So in this case, six, maybe seven. I'm not 100% sure, but let's try to look at it reasonably. So right now these two might go for this one, and then these two will go for this one, and then these two will go for this one, and then we will have one in here maybe if we need it. So I believe seven might do it. So for now seven might be a good number, and maybe I'm going to just adjust things a little bit manually, just something like that. Maybe it's not a good idea to do it, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm just trying to make this work. So probably something like this, maybe. Thank you so much for everyone who is supporting my channel. And if you are interested to have any file from this series, you will find it on my Patreon. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And let's continue. I believe at this point we can try to create these kind of movements, but first I want to adjust this part because this part is not as perfect. So I'm going to move these kind of elements and let's see how we can figure that out. So I'm going to move this to here and probably move this to here. I believe right now I might need um, extra surfaces in here because I feel like these are not enough. So I'm going to select all of this and just delete it because right now if I selected this and this right here and double click, so right now these are 6 elements as we did earlier. And to create this, let's try to figure this out together. So let's look at something. I want to go back to here and I'm going to just try to create this again. So I'm going to just select all of these and I'm going to figure this out with you. So right now, let's try to analyze this logically. So right now, I'm going to start bridging from here to here somehow. So at least I need an edge in here and then an edge in here and then an edge in here and then an edge in here probably. So maybe two in here. So at least 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But these 6 are not enough because this is a little bit flatter. So this will need 2. So this will need 7. And maybe these will need 2. So instead of 1, so these will need 8. So for now, I'm going to do probably 9 or 10. Let's try to do 10 instead. So I'm going to select all of these and just delete them. And let's try to do 10 elements. So I'm going to select this one and this one, and I'm going to, let's add something like this and just bring it up a little bit. Maybe, yeah, for now 23 is going to be good. And I'm going to try to do 10 and let's see if this is a good idea or not. Make sure it's joined. And then I'm going to just move some of these vertices. So I'm going to move this from the middle to somewhere here, and probably this one also from the middle to somewhere here, maybe. And I believe this one is going to be like probably to the middle. Maybe this one is going to be moved a little bit toward here. Maybe not, I'm not 100% sure. Maybe something like this. So right now I should have like this kind of movement. Maybe even I'm going to move this a little bit toward here. Yeah, I'm going to just adjust these a little bit on the near. So right now I should have something like this, which should be good. And then I'm going to remove those from here, and then I'm going to select those and just mirror whatever I have in here. And then I'm going to just join smoothly, and just I should have something like that. And for this side, it looks great. We can try to create this kind of edge between the two corners. So maybe I think in this case, because I don't want to like select this and then start to do it manually all over the edge. So I'm going to select this one and probably until here and double click on the middle, and then I'm going to extrude, but I want the extrusion. For now, I don't care a lot about the numbers, so I'm going to do something like this, but then I'm going to shrink it down. So I'm going to select something like this, and then I'm going to slide it, make sure it's proportional, and then slide it all the way to something closer to here. So right now you kind of created an offset that will blend perfectly with the shape that we are creating. And then we will get this face loop, and then I'm going to select this and click enter or space, and then extract it. So right now it's separate, and then I'm going to select these two elements and just slide. Make sure the slide is toward the inside, and I'm going to do the same for this one. I'm going to select those two and stitch, sorry, not slide, and I'm going to do it this way. So right now I should have something like this, which is kind of similar to what we have in here. I believe in this case we can just adjust some of these vertices, because right now, like, this is, yes, this is in the middle, but I believe we might need it to be closer a little bit to something like this. Maybe something like this. Actually, I'm not going to change this side, but this side might need a little bit of like enhancement. Maybe something like that. So for now, I'm more than happy with this one. I believe after that we need to figure out, because this is moving toward here, but I believe it at some point in this area it kind of creates an interesting shape in this zone. Maybe I should try to create something. I'll try to create this, but I'm not sure where to start yet. So I'm going to select all of these and like double click on this, and I'm going to let's say I'm going to extrude it somewhere in here. So like this kind of edge that will happen in the middle, probably to something like that. And then this will start like to get to here. And probably in this case, I'm going to like extract it. So I'm going to select face loop and then do something like this, and then extract. And I'm going to add like a small edge in the end to figure this part out. So what I want to do is to select, maybe not, because this is going to blend perfectly with that. Probably, I believe in this case we can just select these two and just bridge them, one, of course, and then probably add a filling in here, or stitch those 2 points, maybe. So you will end up with something like this. So you will have this kind of zone that will host this shape, but maybe not. Maybe we can just select like go a step back, undo, and then just fill it, like add a filling to this, because this will make if you select those two faces and add an inset, then you will have like this kind of shape. If you extracted it, it will have like this kind of like movement, or this kind of shape, which is a little bit similar to this, not perfectly, because I believe like this has like tails going on both directions. So maybe in this case we can go again a few steps back, but in this case I'm going to do something like this, but in this case I'm going to say 3. Maybe in this case I'm going to keep them like that, and then I'm going to move this, slide it actually proportionally, yes, maybe something a little bit like this. And maybe in this case we can just um, probably select, maybe stitch those two. something like this, and then I'm going to like select those and just add a fill SubD hole. So I should have something like this, and then I'm going to select all of these faces, all not all of them, just like this, and then create an inset. So I should have something like this, which is kind of started to create these kind of like movement for something like that. Maybe like try to figure out this part a little bit. Yeah, I believe it's kind of similar shape that we are interested to create, and that's great. And after that, maybe we can just try to blend what we have in here. So I'm going to do the same. So I'm going to select this and this, and maybe this one. Actually, I'm going to select all of these, and I'm going to extrude a little bit, but not as much, because I want to, first of all, I'm going to select those and extract them. And I want to figure out this part because right now I want to create something like interesting from these that will blend perfectly from here to here. So right now I'm going to select these two and join smoothly, and I want to fix that area. So probably in this case I'm going to select this, come on, I'm going to select this vertex and then do probably something in here. Maybe this will go a little bit toward here, and these. Okay, so there is like an issue with this part, and to fix that we will need to figure out, like for example, I'm going to move this a little bit, and then I'm going to move this a little bit, and these two I'm going to make them align with those. So I'm going to select those and Gamba relocate, and probably select something like this and make it like that, and I'm going to select those and Gamba relocate and just align it with this. So I will have this kind of movement, probably good, probably not, I'm not 100% sure, but let's just try to like move things a little bit forward. So I'm going to select those and just move them toward there. And yeah, I think for now this might be good. So I'm going to keep it like that. Maybe not 100% sure about this, but for now I'm going to keep it this way. And then I'm going to just try to blend it toward here. So I'm going to make this way. Actually, I think this needs to go all the way to here. So maybe even like try to push all of these toward this, I believe. Maybe, maybe not. Something like this. I believe this is the, I'm not 100% sure because the image is not very obvious, but maybe this is good for now. Maybe if you want, you can just select those and relocate and flatten them. So all of them are going to be just like crazy flat like this. And then probably in this case, you can just move only those two. So I'm going to move them in this direction. So you'll start to have some kind of movement, maybe even move this one. I'm going to slide this one a little bit, or maybe slide this one. So you'll have some kind of movement. Anyway, I'm not going to go a little bit like too deep into this. After that, I think I think I need to select this element and just drag it to here, maybe, and then drag another one, like extrude it a little bit toward this, and then I'm going to extrude one more. And I believe in this case we want this to blend to two elements, so maybe in this case we can just move this a little bit closer to here, and then I'm going to select all of these edges. I'm going to go to ring and then select one of the edges and add a loop in the middle, make sure it's proportional. And I'm trying to create something interesting in here, so I'm going to grab this to here and this to here and this to here. And I believe right now maybe we have something and maybe not. Let's just bring this a little bit. After that, I believe that we can probably bring this right here. Maybe try to, I'm not 100% sure, but let's try to do it this way. And then maybe this one is too close to here, probably. And this one I'm going to just, uh, probably this, I'm going to rotate it a little bit and scale it, and just because like this one needs to be uh, almost, yeah, something like that, because this will start from here. And to make things a little bit more reasonable, I'm going to join this and make it smooth, because I want to see how this will start, and this will affect my other decisions. Right now this is not moving very well, so I might just drag this this point to here, something like that, and probably this point a little bit toward here, probably. And after that, you can just select something like this and gum relocate and flatten it, so it will not be like bad when you are trying to work on it. And probably just make it closer to the center, and do the same for this one, gum relocate and flatten it, and make it also this point a little bit moved to the center, kind of. So you'll have something like this, which hopefully it will be something good. Let's try to fix this part also. Right now I should have, this should be moving from here all the way to here. So let's try to do that. Let's try to select this and try to move it from here to here, from this vertex to this. And probably in this case I'm going to just select this vertex and move it a little bit like this, and then I'm going to select this and just drag it from this point to this point. And probably in this case I'm going to add one more element, which is just something like this from here to here. But in this case I'm just going to delete this vertex, so I should have something like this. I'm not sure about this last one, but let's try. Right now I need to create something in here, but I need to keep it quads, so this will be a little bit tricky, because right now I want this vertex right here to move from here to here, probably even closer to somewhere here. And then I'm going to select this and try to create my quad element. Actually, maybe in this case I'm going to move this from this point to this point. I need this to be like something like this, so this is tricky a little bit. Maybe in this case I don't need this vertex right here. Let's isolate this, and I'm not interested to see this like this vertex right here, so I'm going to stitch it. I'm going to stitch it to this, and then I'm going to show. And I believe in this case maybe we can just select this and drag it to here, so probably something like this. Maybe if this is a good idea or not, I'm not 100% sure, but it's better than what we have originally. And maybe in this case we can just either stitch this element right here, or just keep it like that, because right now I can simply select these two SubD elements, and then join and smooth, and I should have like some kind of movement starting from here. Let's go to the render and look at it. So this will start from here and then go all the way to the other side, and then in this zone we will need to like figure out this part. So we either I believe these are too close, so maybe you can just select those and just bring them all toward here, so this will be thinner. That will make much more sense. And then we want to create another SubD element in here, So probably something like this. We will add a cell and then we will join it smoothly with this. So we might have something like this. I believe we need a little bit more subdivisions because this is way thinner and then these are way closer. So probably we will need a little bit more. So in this case, I can just select something like this and add more subdivisions. Or actually, I'm going to select this one right here, which will be easier. And then I'm going to add a little bit more subdivisions. So I'm going to add something in the middle. And in this case, I'm going to delete this and just adjust this a little bit more. So I'm going to select those and try to figure this part out a little bit. So something like this, kind of. So it's a little bit sharper and kind of closer to the design that we have. And I believe in this case we can just select maybe those two elements and just like make a copy out of them, something like that. And then I'm going to delete this and I'm going to delete this and I'm going to select this right here and drag it to this point right here, and I'm going to separate these two, extract them, and then I'm going to join them with this one. So I'm going to join in here smooth, so I will have like this kind of movement a little bit. I can even make it like a little bit more, so it's more sharper, but this I need it a little bit like to have a little bit more subdivision. So I believe this one needs to go somewhere to here. I know this might seem a little bit too much, but let's try to do that. I'm going to select this and add one more subdivision in the middle, and then I'm going to select this loop. If you are selecting, let's go to the wireframe, it will be easier to see. If you are selecting, you get your mouse closer to this edge. If you are selecting the bigger edge, then you can see that it's highlighted kind of in pinkish, and in the other one, if you are selecting the other one, it will be the smaller. But right now I'm interested to highlight the other one, so I'm going to hover until I select it and then enter, and then try to get this curve in the middle. And then in this case it will be easier because I can select the middle one and then add the mid, something like this. And in this case we can just like start to edit or move the curves around a little bit, but I want to see how they look like in the overall shape. I believe this needs to be like moved somewhere here, and this needs to be moved somewhere here, so the overall shape will start to get this kind of movement. So it's a little bit moving in a good direction. Maybe in this case we can just like select some of these vertices and just align them together. So I'm going to come relocate and then probably select something like this and then align all of them toward here, so you will have something in here. I'm not happy about this one, so maybe you can just drag it to closer to drag it closer to here, maybe even a little bit more. So you will start this one kind of like this. I don't want to take too much time trying to figure out the exact movement of everything, but right now this is way much like it makes sense a lot. Maybe in this case we can just I'm interested to see the overall shape, so I'm going to delete like half of the model and just copy it. So I'm going to delete all of this probably. Actually, I'm going to keep this part, and then I'm going to select everything in here, and then I'm going to mirror from the 0. And in this case I'm going to enable the ortho again and just do something like this, and then I'm going to join those smoothly, so it will be something like that. And then I'm going to join those two, join smoothly, and let's see the overall shape of everything. So I'm going to here, and then I'm going to the rendered. So I believe it's moving very well. Hopefully after we finish the middle part, everything will be tied together. So let's move on to that. I'm not happy about these. I feel like it's too much curves. So I might just select those two and stitch them. and I'm going to select those two and stitch them, and then I'm going to select those 2 points and stitch them. So right now I have almost the same elements but with less fluidity, less vertices, so it's actually more fluid, but more controllable a little bit. So hopefully this will make much more sense. So for now I'm going to keep it this way or not. I'm not happy with those, so this is tricky. Maybe we can just select those two because I want to keep this fluidity in here, but I want to have these shapes. So we can have a triangles, but I don't prefer them, but sometimes you need to have them in your model. So something like this will make much more sense, hopefully. And yes, we forgot these. We can just select those and add something. Actually, I'm going to isolate this and I'm going to change the structure of those. So probably in this case, I'm going to select to add an element in here. So if I removed this, I kind of had a quad in this zone, which is more important to me. And then I'm going to add another quad in here. So if I deleted this one, I should have two quads, and this will be a really good thing because I can simply select those two and then add an inset, but in this case I want it to be smaller, so probably like 0.5 or like something very small. And then I'm going to extract it, so I should have like something like this, which is really good. Maybe in this case I can just select those and move them a little bit closer, and something like in here, and probably even like scale them up so they will be like more smoother. And I'm going to do the same for this one, so I'm going to bring them closer to here, so it's something like this. I believe this is way much better, probably. And yes, maybe we can just go back to what we are doing. So right now these are hopefully going very well. Maybe in this case we kind of need to adjust those a little bit, maybe to something like this. Okay, and after that I'm going to do some kind of movement inspired by all of this, but it's going to be a little bit simpler, hopefully. So I'm going to select these two. Actually, I'm going to select these two from here probably to here, and I'm going to extrude them. Um, Actually, I'm going to extrude them in a very big way, so it's closer to this edge. So something like this. And I know this looks like tangled, so I might just try to untangle them a little bit to something like that, maybe. And then I'm going to create the thin edge that is going all the way around. So I'm going to select uh, first I'm going to select the ring, and then I'm going to add like a very thin loop in here, probably something like this. And then I'm going to select a face loop, so selecting this and clicking on this edge, and then extract, so it's something like this all the way. And then I will try to delete some of these elements, so I might delete this and I might delete this, so it's simpler. And even actually, let's delete this one, and I'm going to probably bring this one to here, so it's a little bit simpler, it's not like intense. And I'm going to like eliminate this or extract it, so it's isolated. And then I'm going to because these needs to be like all the way to here, and maybe even delete this one. So I actually no, keep it, but we need to figure out the fluidity of these elements, so we will like try to adjust them, but at least this one will go somewhere closer to here. Let's try to move this to here probably, and or let's try to select this one and make a bridge, and in this case I'm going to make the bridge 2, which is good. Make a join, and I'm going to move this vertex from here to here, and I'm going to actually stitch those two vertices to here, so I kind of have like a big area in here to create this kind of element, and I'm going to extract it, so I should have like something very big in here, so it's closer to what I have, and then I will just adjust these according to what I need. I believe in this case we can just I'm going to select this and just try to move it all the way to here for now, just like something random, and then I'm going to try to move all these things a little bit further. I believe they should be following this curve here, so it's not like probably something like this. This is just a lot of like free form modeling. I'm not sure if this is the best approach for this design, but for now I think it might be a good idea to do it this way. Probably not. But I think in this case we kind of have like half of the elements that we are interested to create, and then I'm going to select this one, and I'm going to mirror both of them from the 0. So I should have something like this, and I'm going to select these edges and stitch, and these edges and stitch, and just click enter without selecting any side, so it's exactly in the middle. And right now you should have like this kind of movement, and let's look at it in here. It's actually closer to what we are looking for. I believe right now we can just go back to here and then add those two. So I'm going to select this ring right here, and then I'm going to insert SubD edge in the middle, so it's closer to this. And I believe in this case we can just select this and select this, and probably maybe something like that. Maybe in this case we will just move this a little bit toward here so it's not connected, or we can connect it, like we can just select all of these 4 and just stitch them toward here, and probably delete this vertex in here. Maybe let's see what we have. I believe we might have something good. Let's try to look at it in here. Not as perfect as I was hoping. Let's go a few steps back. I believe right now if we look at the design itself, let's try to look at it from a different perspective. I'm not sure if these are connected together like around these faces or not, because it's not obvious in here, but hopefully this is good. For now I'm not going to stitch this. I'm just going to figure out the middle parts, and then I'm going to see how everything will fit together later, so let's figure that out. And if I understand correctly right now I can select those, and then while holding shift double click on this and double click on this and delete, and then double click on any one, it will select all the faces and mirror from the 0, something like that, and then just select those and join smoothly. So I should have something like this. I believe this one needs also to be adjusted because it's a little bit different, so maybe I will adjust everything later, but for now let's just figure this part out. Maybe right now I can just select from here to here and try again to create an offset or extrusion, and this extrusion are going to be, I'm going to create it manually, so probably toward here, and then I'm going to select this edge and create a ring and add this kind of small inset and select this and just create all of this. Actually I'm going to create all of the face loops and extract, and after that I'm going to, let's say, delete some of these edges because I feel like it's too much. But for now, I'm going to actually move them away so we can start have our own shape. I believe this shape is moving all the way to here, so it's surrounding this. So this is going to be a little bit tricky. I believe this needs to go like somewhere closer to here, because this will end somewhere here, and then this shape is going to go to close in this zone. So this is like a little bit uh, tricky, but let's see. Let's try to figure this out. Right now, I want to try to follow the fluidity of this shape. And if you look at this, you can just let me just try to bring all of these vertices right here to bring them a little bit toward here, something like that. And these also, I'm going to bring them a little bit closer. And right now I'm not interested in all of these faces. I will create my own, so I might just select those and delete them. Maybe even delete this one. Actually, let's keep it, and then I'm going to delete this one, and I'm going to select those and just bridge. And I'm not sure how many. For now, I'm going to say 5 or 6, probably 6. And then I'm going to try to get this somewhere here, but not like close. I don't want it to be fully closed. And then this one a little bit to here, but not closed. So right now I kind of get this shape, but I need to just adjust it a little bit. So I'm going to move those a little bit around, maybe even delete this one and just keep it like this so it's not as intense, and maybe adjust this vertex so it's not like weird. And right now this needs to be filled, so I'm going to select this and try to bring it like here probably. So this will start to form these kind of elements, so probably something like this. And again we will need to keep all the fluidity for all the quads for something like this. So like all of that needs to be like fully quads, just like that. So right now I should have something like this. So right now this will start from here and go all the way to here. And right now this is going to be a little bit interesting because I need to grab this and probably bring it to here, and then I need to fill all of that. So maybe this one will go to here, maybe this one will go to here, maybe this one will go to here, and then I will have this kind of space that needs to be filled. So I'm going to isolate, and then I want to, let's bring this right here. I'm going to stitch it with these, and I'm going to stitch this one with these. So right now I should have something like this, which is not bad, but I want to avoid this kind of shape, so I'm going to do it this way. And right now I have this quad, so I have this, like these are two triangles, so I can just eliminate this. And right now I have something like that, which is hopefully good. So right now I have like something interesting, and then I can just simply select uh, this face and this face and try to select all the faces in the middle and add an inset, and I should have something like this. Right now I have this weird vertex in here, so I'm going to move it a little bit, and then I have those two, so I'm going to stitch them together, so I kind of have something moving from here, and those two are too close, so I'm going to stitch them something like this. Maybe this one needs to be a little bit wider, like that probably. And then I'm going to select all of these middle faces, not all of these middle faces, one by one, and then extract them. So I should have like something in here. Maybe the curvature if this is not perfect, so I might just adjust it a little bit, so that might makes a little bit more sense. And then I'm going to mirror both all of that, so I'm going to mirror from the 0 again, and I'm going to select those two elements and stitch them, and those two elements and stitch them. So right now I should have something like this, and I'm going to isolate this and just actually in this case probably reflect it, because the tolerance will be good enough, and then I'm going to unreflect it, so this will make much more sense. And actually I'm going to do the same. Actually in this one I'm not going to reflect, I'm going to just delete half, something like that, and then I'm going to select everything and mirror from the 0, and then just to try to wrap everything and join and show. And probably in this case we can just select all of these small elements. This one is already mirrored, and these two, and mirror from the 0, something like this. And I believe right now we need to finish this part, so I'm going to select all of these elements right here, and I'm going to probably add an extrusion to make it something like this a little bit. And after that I'm going to select the ring in here, and then I'm going to add an inset, something smaller, and then I'm going to select the face loop and extract it, and select this edge and face loop and extract it. So right now I should have this kind of shape in the middle. Right now I can simply, first of all, I think this needs to be like mirrored. So I'm going to select these and delete them, and double click on this and mirror from the 0. So it will be something like this. And then I'm going to join both smoothly, and then I'm going to show. And right now I should have something like this probably. And then I'm going to select those two, and I'm going to stitch, so something like this, and probably something like this. So right now I should have all of this, and these are a little bit tricky because right now we have all of these segments, and I want them to be like very tiny like this, but we need to make them like way much better. So I'm going to gump relocate and just flatten this for a second. I'm going to flatten this also right here, and right now I need to like probably try to make this way much better. So maybe in this case I will try a different technique, and I'm going to get something in here and try to make probably like an oval shape or something, and I'm going to bring it up, and I'm going to reduce, like select this shape, and probably select all of these points and probably make them a little bit like this. I'm not interested in the other half, so I'm going to delete it. And let's see if I selected those, all of them, and I set a line to curve, and then I selected this curve right here. So it's kind of better, because right now I have this kind of shape, which should be good enough for my own design. And I'm not 100% happy about all of these subdivisions, but I think for now they will do the trick, because later when we subdivide or when we try to do something with them, that might be a good idea. For now, I'm going to just adjust them a little bit manually, so they are not like extremely close to each other like this, probably something like that. Maybe even I'm going to select those three, just go a little bit higher, I'm not sure how much, and this one, and something like this. I think this might be a better distribution for now. Maybe this needs to be scaled a little bit and scaled a little bit. I believe that scaling is a good decision, probably. And these, I believe they need a little bit of scaling and a little bit of scaling, and not like so much. Yeah, I think for now I'm more than happy with this. But right now I need to fill all of these elements. So I'm going to select all of these edges, probably not those two. And I'm going to bridge, and I'm going to make this two, maybe not to join. And then I'm going to select this point right here, and I'm going to add it to this. And right now this will be creased. So I'm going to select this edges and just remove any crease. And I'm going to select those two, and I'm going to join smoothly. So right now this is filled, and then I'm going to select something from here to here, probably all of these, maybe even with this, and I'm going to add something in the middle. Maybe in this case I'm going to scale it down a little bit or not, depends. But right now I have something like this, and then I'm going to select all of these elements, just extract them. So I should have something like this. Maybe if this is too pointy in here, you can just go a few steps back and just stitch those, and you will have something like this. And then I'm going to select this face and shift and double click, and it will go all the way until the triangle, and then it will stop. And then I'm going to extract it, so I should have something like this. So theoretically, I think we have most of the elements. Right now, I just need to figure out all the connectivity between all of these elements, because right now, um, theoretically, if I connected this to this and just a bridge with one and join, so it should have something like this. So theoretically, that makes sense. I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So I'm going to connect this right here. So I'm going to do a bridge. And I believe in this case we can just select some of these elements. So I'm going to select those two and those two while holding shift, of course. And then while holding shift, I'm going to double click on this and double click on this. And this will select all of these loops. And I'm going to do a bridge, but in this case I want it to be one, but not join actually. I'm going to keep it this way. And after that, I'm going to select this one and this one. I'm going to isolate, and then I'm going to bridge those, but in this case I want to join, and I'm going to do this and I want to join, and I'm going to select this one with this one like as a vertex. Let me go to the shaded, it will be better to see. And then I'm going to do it this way, and I'm going to do it this way for this one. So that will make much more sense, because in here it looks similar to this, which is a little bit wider in here, and this one is connected, so it's kind of the same. If we look at the overall shape, hopefully it looks the same. I believe right now we need to figure out the other connections. So for example, maybe we need to either stitch or bridge those two. So I'm not 100% sure. Maybe we will bridge them for now. So something like this. And I'm going to bridge those two also. So another bridge. But in this case, we need to figure out those elements, because right now, if you look at these, you will find gaps in some of these areas, and these gaps are not very well. So either we should probably make a connection in here that fits with this corner, or eliminate it. I believe right now we might just create a cell in here, just a temporary. If we want to delete it later, we will. And I'm going to do the same on the other side. So another SubD cell just in here, and then I'm going to select this cell with this and with this, and I'm going to join smoothly, so it will be just blended like this. And in here, yeah, I believe in here it's fine, and in here it's fine. So hopefully right now, if we go to the rendered, the model is almost finished. I believe this needs to be connected. Let's go to the SubD, isolate, and then I'm going to the top, and I'm going to select this with this, and I'm going to bridge and if I remember correctly, those was 10, and this was probably 25 or 23. 23, yes, 23 was the magical number in this case. After that, I will simply show, and I need to figure this part out because I need to have all of my curves, all of my subdivisions moving from one side to the other. So let's try to figure this out. I'm going to create a fill for this part, so I'm going to remove those two elements, and I'm going to remove those two elements, which is this one and this one, and I'm going to bridge, but this in this case I want it to be 2, and I don't care about this. I'm not interested to join, so it should be something like this. And then I'm going to bring this vertex, which is in the middle, toward here, and I'm going to bring the vertex also in the middle. I'm going to bring it toward this end, so it's the exact fill. um, Hopefully. Okay, and after that, there's something not very well with this. Okay, yes, right now these are creased, so I need to just double click on all of them and remove any crease so it will fit perfectly. Okay, that's perfect. Right now I want to subdivide all these elements, and if I did subdivide them without if I did subdivide them, if I selected something in here, let's select this one, it would be easier to show. If I selected something like this and selected all of these elements and added something in the middle proportionally, 0.5, and then added another 0.5. So when you look at it from the top, this will start to be flat, and that is not good because I want my elements to be not flat, to get again like blend to this fluid curve. So I'm going to go to select this fluid curve, and I'm going to copy it. While holding alt, I will drag this somewhere, and then I will say 50, for example, and then I'm going to join, and for now I will keep it right here. Before I move on, I want to probably give this a little bit of, I'm not sure if these are like a little bit fluid in the middle, because right now everything is flat. So maybe I should select everything except this curve, and then I'm going to isolate, and let's try to make a cage. So I'm going to say cage, uh, edit, and I'm going to say bounding box, and okay, and right now it's 4 by 4, probably okay, and then I'm going to hit something like this, and I'm not sure if 4 by 4 is enough. Let's try again. I'm going to select all of them and cage edit, and I'm going to say bounding box, and okay, and right now I'll say 5 by 5 because I want a point in the middle, this one, and I'm going to try to just raise it a little bit, so this will give me some kind of like movement a little bit in the middle. That will be, hopefully this will make much more sense and will make a little bit more interesting design. Yeah, for now I'm happy with that, so I can just delete this, which will keep everything, and that actually looks much better. And maybe in this case we can just show, in this case I'm going to delete this old curve, and then I'm going to pick this new curve, and I'm going to copy it. Again, I'm going to say 50 and join and just keep it as it is, and then I'm going to just add all the subdivisions that I want to create. So I'm going for now to select those, which are going to give me all of that, and I'm going to add all the elements that I want to create. So I'm going to just grab something in the middle, and then another one to something like this, and then another one, so it's something like this. And then I'm going to select the second one, and then this one, and then this one. I'm going to crease, and then I'm going to select the one in the middle, something like this. And I'm not interested in those first elements, and I'm not interested in those first elements because I want to only erase the ones in the middle, and I'm going to move them one. So when you look at this, if you go to the rendered, this is moving, it's blending from here and then going all the way up. Let me just try to fix the lighting so you will see it better. I believe in this case I prefer 0.5 and 0.5, and I'm going to control the sun manually and just like try to make something like this, so it's kind of better view to see. Yeah, kind of something like this. And maybe even in this case I'm going to select all the SubD elements and just go to the material and add just a plastic material, just something grayish a little bit, and add it to here. Maybe not as dark, probably light gray, something like that. I believe this will be much better, as shiny and as you will see all the elements. I believe right now these are very less, so we need to add more. So we can add more by simply I'm not going to undo all of this, so I'm going to delete. Actually, I'm going to simply select this and delete it, and this one and delete it, this one delete. I'm going to delete all of these elements, so I'm back to the original subdivisions. I believe in this case we need to because right now we have all of these because these were creased, so right now you might have multiple uh, points, so you can just delete them. Right now this is good. If you select this, right now this is one, and we can do the same for the other side. Let's check that. Yes, we have multiple points in here, you can delete them, and then we'll do that again. So right now I'm going to select these, but right now instead I'm going to start in the middle, of course, but right now instead of going both sides in the middle, I'm going to both sides, but I'm going to say 0.33, so it's like third of the way. And then when I remove this one, then I should have like 3 elements, which should be great. Then I can just simply select this and add something in the middle for this one alone, and then something in the middle for this one alone, and then something in the middle for this one alone. So right now I should have a little bit more, so I can simply select this and select this, and actually I'm going to select all of them and add crease, and then I want to select, let's try to select something like this, and let's see if I can add it. No, I have to add it manually, so I'm going to select this one, and I'm going to select the ring, and I'm going to add something in the middle. Actually, in this case, maybe we can separate them and then make join them again. So I'm going to select all of these faces right here, and I'm going to extract them, and then I'm going to select all of these middle elements, and then add the curve in the middle, and then I'm going to simply join them together. But in this case, I'm going to make sure it's creased, so I will keep the crease in the middle, and then I'm going to select these elements right now, all of them, the between creases, and then let me select them again, and then I'm going to eliminate what I have eliminated before. So I will just select those and eliminate those. So it's something like this, and then I'm going to say 1. So right now you can see, if we look closer to this in the rendered, you can see that we have more elements, and this is kind of great. And after that, we want to fix this part. I'm going to join this first. So this should be Actually, I think, yeah, right now I need it to be smoothed, so it's not as bad. And I want to fix this, but before I fix that, let's finish all these other things. So I'm going to do the same for all of these. So I'm going to pick those and probably pick also those and extract them. So I'm going to select this one and this one and this one and this one, and probably no, I'm going to stick with those four, and I'm going to add a curve in the middle, and then I'm going to add, for now I'm going to make them fours, those ones I'm going to make them only fours, so something like this. And then I'm going to select this one and this one. I'm not selecting the middle one, which is important. And then I'm going to again add an edge, but I wanted to add in the middle. So right now I have like 8 curves in each one, so that might make sense. And then I'm going to crease some of them, which I'm going to crease only those 3 in each one, so something like that. And then I'm going to crease this one and this one and this one, and then I'm going to crease this one, this one, and this one. So right now if I creased all of this, and then I'm selecting the other elements, all of that, and all of all of that. I'm not selecting the creased elements, I'm selecting the other elements. So all of these. So I should have something like this. And then I'm going to, I prefer to go to the top and then go to the wireframe. It will be easier to deselect. I'm going to deselect the first, actually the first and the second. So it's something like this. I'm going to deselect all of these. So probably something like that. I'm going to do the same for the other side. So all of these elements are going to be deselected, and then I'm going to here and just push them 1. So they should have, if we look at this, the rendered, we should have more, and that's great. And I believe right now we can just select these and blend them back, join, smooth, so everything is blended back. And then I'm going to like do those two. So I'm going to select this element right here. I'm going to go to the shaded and select this and this. Okay, and I'm going to do all the same. So I'm going to go 0.5, and then I'm going to select this one and do another 0.5 in both sides, and then another 0.5. And then I'm going to select, ignore the first, and then select the second, the fourth, and so on, and this one also, and so on, and crease. And then in between the creases, I'm going to select those, the in between the creases, and then I'm going to lift them up. I believe this one is a loop, so I don't have to deselect anything, but this one I'm going to deselect those and deselect those. And then I'm going to move those 1 again, so that should be great. So if I go to the rendered, I should have something like this. And here comes the interesting part, which is to bring those back together. So let's hope we do not screw it up. So let's bring this back. Let's bring this curve back the 50, 50, negative 50. Before I align, I think this needs just to be fixed, so I'm going to isolate, and then I'm going to delete half of the elements, not those, and then I'm going to just simply select all and mirror from the 0. Make sure to mirror from the 0, and the ortho is on, and just join smoothly and show. And right now I should have the curve. Let's go to the shaded. Right now I have the curve, and I have the SubD. I have the curve and I have the SubD. So I'm going to isolate both, and I want to align the SubD curves. So I'm going to select all of this, but I believe from here everything is fine. So only those needs to be figured out, and the same will happen from here. So I believe right now if I double click on this, everything else will be eliminated. I don't want to ruin that. And I believe also those needs, like those are good. So maybe only those needs to be fixed. Maybe not the first one, maybe not the first one or the last one. So those will stay the same, probably even those. So those, and then I'm going to say align to curve, and I will select this curve. So that is good or bad actually, because I eliminated this one, so it's bad. So I'm going to select them and I'm going to do this again, but I'm going to eliminate only the big ones. So something like this, and those big ones, and those big ones, and then I'm not interested to adjust any of these, and I'm going to align to curve and select, make sure to remove this so it will select like something like that, and this should be good. So if you go back to here and go to the rendered, you will see that you gained back the fluidity of this, like almost. I believe it's way much better. Maybe if you want, you can add more details to this, but I believe right now this is good. And I believe we can just select all of these small elements. So right now I'm going to hide this, and I'm going to hide all of these small elements, probably even those ones hide. So right now I'll end up with those. So for those ones you have multiple options. Maybe for now I'm going to say extrude 1, and right now you'll have this kind of buffiness, but maybe even we can make them a little bit more. So we'll say, I don't know, 5 or 10 or like very big number. So this might be a good thing, or you can try to either select the mid curve, something like this, and just ignore the first two elements and just raise it. So you'll have something like that. Or if you want, you can just go to the top. Let's go back to this and go to the top and simply try to select all of these vertices and stitch them together. So you'll have a single point in the middle, and then raise it. So you will end up with something kind of dome-ish like this. Or you can try something else for this one. So for example, I might select like create some kind of edge in the middle. So I might just create an edge in here, something from here to here to the mid in here, maybe even not the mid, and then try to bring it to this, probably something like that, and then try to just lift it all up. So this might create an interesting movement. If this looks a little bit weird, you can just stitch those 2 points probably to the middle, so you will have this kind of shape. And I think in this case you can just mirror it, so this one will be deleted and this one will be mirrored from this from the 0, of course, to the other side. So you might have something like this, and maybe in those cases you will just create probably in those cases you might just create an extrusion. There's something missing. Let's show. Before we show, let's just extrude those a little bit. So I'm going to say 2 maybe, or 5, so it's like extruded a little bit more. Maybe those are too much, so in this case I'm going to select this and extrude it. Yes, I'm going to say 2, but in this case I'm going to select this edge and just shrink it to something like this, and I'm going to select these 2 vertices right here, and I'm going to stitch them, and I'm going to select those two and stitch them. So I should have like something like that, which is kind of interesting also. You can figure out how you want to your shapes to look like. Probably I'm going to select this one and I'm going to extrude it 4 or something, but then I'm going to scale those two elements somewhere here, and then I'm going to grab them in the middle. So it will be something like this, and maybe in this case I'm just going to grab this point in the middle, this one, and just raise it. So it will be probably something like that. And maybe in this case I might try to create an edge in the middle. So I'm going to probably create something from here to here to here, and then I'm going to bring this point somewhere here. If I'm selecting the green red one, then this is the XY uh, plane, and then I'm going to raise this up a little bit, and then I'm going to mirror everything. Let's show. I'm going to select those as SubD elements, and then I'm going to show. Yes, this is not even here, so that's good. I'm going to delete, and I'm going to move this point like 4, probably something like that, and then I'm going to select this and hide it, and all of these also, and hide them, this one, these ones, and this one, all of these elements, and probably I'm going to delete this one. Actually, I'm going to hide both of these and just mirror those. So I'm going to go to the 0 and mirror, and then I'm going to show everything. I believe right now all of the roof of the airport are done. Let's try to look at it in without the boundaries. So right now you have something like this. Maybe in this case we can just make it more obvious by selecting all of these other elements. I'm going to select those and hide them, and this one and hide it, and then I'm going to select all of these other elements and just go back to here and create another plastic probably, but in this case I want it a little bit transparent and I want to add all of these elements to it, and I'm going to make it like dark gray or something. So when I show, I should have something like this, which is actually kind of interesting. Maybe the transparency should not be like too much, and in this case I'm not interested to see the picture itself. So right now we have this kind of form, and maybe one more thing we should do, which is I'm going to select all of these edges. Let's go to the shaded one more time. I'm going to select all of these edges and I'm going to extrude them 1, or let's say 2 meters. So I should have like something like this. Maybe in this case I'm going to select all of these and remove the crease, and then I'm going to select these elements and just actually I'm going to extract them, and then maybe I should isolate and create an extrusion out of this, probably toward the inside. Actually, let's not create an extrusion. Let's create an extrusion for this element. I'm going to create an extrusion for this, but I want it to be in the N direction, and I want it to be toward the inside a little bit. So like these are too many. I'm going to move in this direction a little bit so it's inside, and I'm going to select this and remove the crease, and I'm going to show. So right now if I selected this with this, not the curve, the SubD with the SubD, and join and smooth, I should have like this kind of fluid shape, which is good. And then I can simply select this lower edge and just bring it back to the ground a little bit, maybe negative, I don't know, 8 or 10, 8 probably. And then I'm going to Gumbo relocate and just select any point in here and then flatten this so you can see how big the airport is. And then I'm going to select this and just extract those and probably even give them the same material as the glass probably. So if we look at this in the rendered, we should have this kind of airport, and I'm not 100% happy about the results, but I believe right now this is the best I can figure out about this. I believe we missed a subdivision in here. We missed the crease, so let's go just fix that. I'm going to select this, and I'm not interested to crease those or those. Just like that, I'm going to crease, and uh, that should be it for today's tutorial. Thank you so much, and see you in the next episode.